There is no shortage of shocking secrets that stir public opinion. Besides the public and praised relationships, there are also many love rumors and scandals that make fans excited. From the regrettable breakup between Dwyane Wade and Gabrielle Union, to the rumors surrounding the relationship between Will Smith and Margot Robbie, or the complicated love life of Nick Cannon, all show that Hollywood always has countless surprises hidden behind the spotlight. In today's video, we will explore together a list of 20 famous black actors who were involved in love scandals while working with their co-stars on set. Dramatic and surprising stories are waiting for you. In 2013, Will Smith and Margot Robbie made headlines when rumors of their relationship exploded while they were working together on the film Focus. Their incredible on-screen chemistry left many wondering, was their chemistry limited to acting, or did it extend to real life? The rumors were fueled when a behind-the-scenes photo leaked, showing Will Smith shirtless while Margot Robbie playfully lifted her shirt to reveal her underwear. The moment quickly made the rounds on social media, fueling speculation about the two stars' relationship, especially since Will is now married to Jada Pinkett Smith. Some sources even claim that Margot and Will were so close on set that the young actress reportedly refused to attend after-parties to spend time alone in Will's trailer. The pressure from the media not only affected them, but also spread to Margot's family. Her mother openly expressed her concerns and advised her daughter to be more cautious in the face of public scrutiny. However, Margot Robbie quickly denied all rumors, asserting that she and Will were simply colleagues, and that what the public saw was just media hype. As for Will, he did not make any official statements at that time. Putting an end to all the rumors, Margot found true happiness in late 2013 when she met Tom Ackerley, her current husband, during the filming of Suite Française. They started dating in 2014 and got married in 2016 in a private, simple but loving wedding. Despite the rumors that have caused a stir in the past, Margot Robbie has overcome them all and built a fulfilling life with her true partner. Eddie Murphy and Mel B, the singer known as Scary Spice of the Spice Girls, had a short but emotional relationship in 2006. Although it didn't last long, this relationship left a deep impression on both of them, and especially a wonderful gift: their daughter, Angel Iris Murphy Brown. Mel B opened up about this love in her autobiography, Brutally Honest, as well as in many interviews. She called Eddie Murphy the great love of her life. They first met at a party at Eddie's house, where the attraction between the two happened almost immediately. Mel B described the feeling at that time as being so overwhelming that she had to leave that night. However, it was Eddie's patience and respect for personal space that made her open up and start a romantic relationship that lasted 9 months, a period of time that Mel likened to a modern fairy tale. Despite the unsatisfactory end of their relationship, Mel B has never had any bitter words for Eddie. On the contrary, she has always described him as a family man who values love and respect. After the breakup, Mel discovered she was pregnant with Angel, which put a strain on their relationship, especially when Eddie initially expressed doubts about being a father. However, he later confirmed that Angel was his daughter and has been a constant presence in her life ever since. Both Eddie and Mel have moved on. Eddie is now happily married to Paige Butcher, his long-term partner, and they have 2 children together. Meanwhile, Mel B entered into a marriage with Stephen Belafonte, but faced many events and traumas. She has been open about the difficulties in that marriage, and it was her late father's love that gave her the strength to leave, regain her freedom, and take control of her life. Through the events, both Eddie Murphy and Mel B have moved forward strongly, opening new chapters for their lives and careers, a testament to the power of love, maturity, and determination to overcome challenges. The relationship between Tristan Thompson and Khloe Kardashian has attracted special attention from the public and the media, not only because of their fame, but also because of the series of events that lasted like a real-life drama. The couple started dating in 2016, and at first, everything seemed perfect. However, just a few years later, that love was quickly covered by endless scandals. The first shock came in 2018 when Khloe was pregnant with their first child. A video posted by TMZ showed Tristan being intimate with another woman at a nightclub. That betrayal completely devastated Khloe. However, because her daughter was about to be born, she chose to forgive and try to save the relationship. Although Khloe tried to mend things, the storms continued to come. In 2019, the public was shocked by rumors that Tristan had been intimate with Jordyn Woods, Kylie Jenner's close friend. This incident not only caused Khloe to end her relationship with Tristan once again, but also shattered the long-standing friendship between Jordyn and the Kardashian-Jenner family. Jordyn was quickly removed from their close circle of friends. Despite the hurt, Khloe and Tristan still tried to rebuild their relationship. The two gradually reconciled, even planning to have more children through surrogacy. However, the trust that had just been rekindled continued to be extinguished. Tristan was accused of having a child with another woman while still reunited with Khloe, causing all hope to truly collapse. By 2022, Khloe officially announced her breakup with him. Khloe has since opened up about the pain she went through, as well as her journey to healing and prioritizing a healthy environment for her children. Meanwhile, Tristan has faced heavy criticism from the public for his series of infidelity. Despite ending the troubled romance, it remains one of the most controversial and talked about relationships in Hollywood. But if you thought Khloe and Tristan's story was the most dramatic, prepare yourself for some shocking rumors involving Denzel Washington in the sequel. Nick Cannon is a prominent figure in the entertainment industry, not only because of his diverse career, but also because his love life always attracts special attention. One of the most public relationships is with Mariah Carey. The couple has made many people closely follow them during their time together. However, besides his success in work, Nick's personal life has also been the subject of discussion many times, especially rumors surrounding his relationships with many women, including colleagues and co-stars. Christina Milian is one of those who has publicly talked about the difficulties in her relationship with Nick. She once revealed her hurt feelings when she discovered infidelity messages on his phone. Although Nick Cannon's public image has always been firmly built thanks to his successful career, his personal life has always been the focus of attention and media attention. After marrying Mariah Carey and having twins together, they had many happy moments together. However, Nick still could not avoid rumors about other relationships. He once shared his desire to build a large family with many children from different relationships. This view has created a lot of debate surrounding his views on love, commitment, and family life. Despite facing many challenges in his personal life and constant attention from the public, Nick Cannon always tries to maintain a professional image in his career and openly shares the difficulties in his personal life. Sidney Poitier and Diane Carroll, two great Hollywood icons, not only paved the way for a generation of black actors in the 1950s and 1960s, but also left an emotional chapter in their personal stories. Aside from their illustrious careers, the nearly decade-long relationship between the two stars is a little-known but deeply emotional one. Their love story began in 1959 on the set of Porgy and Bess, where the special connection between the two artistic souls quickly transcended the screen. At the time, both Sidney and Diane were married. Sidney was married to Juanita Hardy, while Diane was married to Monty Kaye, a music producer. Yet there seemed to be a strong bond between them, not just love, but a deep understanding between two pioneers facing barriers in an industry that had not yet opened itself up to black artists. In her memoir, Diane Carroll recounted that Sidney Poitier convinced her to divorce her husband, promising to leave his wife so they could be together. Diane complied, but Sidney did not follow through on his promise at the time, leaving their relationship in limbo. Later, Sidney asked her to move in with him for 6 months without their daughter as a test of their future. But Diane refused, because motherhood was something she could not trade. The relationship eventually ended, but during their nearly 9 years together, the two kept their relationship a secret, taking every step carefully to protect their rising careers, knowing that any slip-up could seriously damage their reputations at the time. After the split, Dayahan continued to develop his career and build his own life. As for Sydney, he eventually divorced and married actress Joanna Shimkus in 1976, a marriage that lasted until the end of his life. Although Sydney and Dayahan's love story did not have a happy ending, it was still an important part of the journey of two people who helped change the face of the entertainment industry. That secretive but profound love story is still mentioned as an emotional mark in Hollywood history, where love, sacrifice, and courage go hand in hand on the journey to break down barriers and shape a legacy. The relationship between Jada Pinkett Smith and singer August Alsina once caused a stir in public opinion, becoming one of the most interested stories in the Hollywood entertainment industry. The incident really exploded in July 2020 when Jada and Will Smith decided to speak out frankly and sincerely about this story on the show Red Table Talk. It all started when August Alsina shared in an interview that he had a romantic relationship with Jada, a revelation that surprised the public, especially when Jada was still married to Will Smith at that time. Jada and August met in 2015 through her son, Jaden Smith. At that time, August was struggling with many health and mental issues. Jada, wanting to support and help, was there for him as a friend. However, over time, the feelings between them gradually became deeper. Jada later called the relationship an entanglement, a phrase that quickly went viral and became a symbol of the story itself. During the Red Table Talk, Jada and Will shared that their marriage was facing major challenges at the time. They decided to temporarily separate to have their own space, to find peace and clarity in life. It was during that period of separation that the relationship between Jada and August formed. Jada affirmed that it was her personal choice, not something that Will allowed. Will also confirmed that he knew about the situation, and despite the difficulties, they still tried to overcome the challenges to continue to accompany each other. The conversation was not only about entanglement, but also a testament to the maturity in how they faced the upheavals in their marriage. Will even joked that he would get her back, showing his sincerity, empathy, and respect for his wife. Jada and Will's candor and courage in openly facing the challenges of their marriage have been admired by the public. They not only tell their own stories, but also provide an insight into love, forgiveness, and enduring companionship in a long-term relationship. Shaquille O'Neal, also known by his nickname Shaq, is one of the greatest legends of the NBA. Not only thanks to his brilliant career on the court, but also because of his humorous and charming personality off the court. However, behind the halo of a sports star, Shaq's personal life has experienced many ups and downs. The marriage between Shaq and Shawnee O'Neal, which began in 2002, was once considered an ideal model when they had 4 children together and were admired as a power couple. However, behind that perfect appearance were hidden difficulties that not everyone knew about. In his memoir, Shaq frankly admitted the mistakes in his marriage, especially infidelity. He shared that he used to be a man with too many choices, and that caused him to lose the most precious things in life. From 2003 to 2009, rumors about Shaq's extramarital affairs continued to appear, although there was no official confirmation, but it was enough to cast a shadow over the relationship between him and Shawnee. Even though the marriage ended, Shawnee always showed nobility. She chose to put the interests of her children first, maintaining a companionship with Shaq in raising their children. She never denied that Shaq was a great father, despite the damage in the marriage. As for Shaq, he never hid his regrets. He openly acknowledged his mistakes, admitting that he had hurt his family, something he considered one of the biggest lessons in his life. Shaq also did not hesitate to talk about his journey of growing up, pledging to learn from the past to become a better person, not only in personal relationships but also in his role as a father and as a person. Shaq's story is not only a reminder of the value of honesty and accountability, but also a testament to the power of admitting and making the effort to change to become a better version of yourself. Wesley Snipes, the famous actor with a series of memorable roles in Blade, Jungle Fever, or Demolition Man, is not only famous for his acting talent but also attracts attention for his ups and downs in his personal life. He was married to April Dubois in 1985, but this marriage only lasted until 1990. Then, in 2003, Snipes married Nikki Park for the second time and built a family with her with 4 children. One of the stories that caused a lot of discussion revolved around the relationship between Wesley Snipes and Jennifer Lopez, his co-star in the action movie Money Train, released in 1995. Although this movie was noted for many dramatic scenes, behind the scenes of it revealed situations that made Jennifer Lopez feel awkward and uncomfortable. Jennifer once shared that during the filming process, Snipes proactively approached and expressed special interest in her. He frequently invited her to participate in activities outside the film set and always offered to take her home after each shoot. Although Jennifer did not have special feelings, Snipes continued to pursue her. According to Jennifer, at one point he tried to kiss her, something she clearly refused. This incident caused tension between the two to the point that they did not speak to each other for the next 2 months. The singer and actress also confided that the emotional scenes in the film were a big challenge for her. At that time, Jennifer was very young, inexperienced, and had never participated in such a strong emotional scene before. She admitted that she was not fully supported to feel safe and comfortable in the working environment. If she had the opportunity to do it again, she would proactively request better emotional protection measures during sensitive scenes. Jennifer believes that her co-star's behavior at that time went beyond professional boundaries, especially when she was in a serious relationship in real life. This story not only led to a misunderstanding between the two actors, but also became a strong reminder of the importance of respecting personal boundaries, especially in the artistic working environment, where emotional scenes require absolute understanding and consensus from both sides. One of the most controversial romances in Hollywood in the early 1990s was the relationship between Whoopi Goldberg and Ted Danson. The couple met in 1993 while working together on the film Made in America, where they played lovers on screen. However, their feelings didn't stop on set. They quickly developed into a real-life relationship, even though at the time Ted Danson was still married to his second wife, Cassandra Coates, for 16 years. Meanwhile, Whoopi was single after divorcing a few years earlier. When news of their relationship broke, the media and public immediately paid attention. The fact that Ted was a married man added to the public's excitement. Soon after, Cassandra Coates filed for divorce, a split that was considered one of the most expensive in Hollywood at the time, with rumors that Ted had to pay millions of dollars in settlement. Ted and Whoopi made no secret of their relationship, however. They appeared together publicly at many events, showing their commitment despite skeptical looks. However, at the time, an interracial couple dating publicly was still not socially acceptable, especially when both were big stars. One of the events that caused further public outrage was when Ted Danson appeared at Whoopi's Friars Club roast. He used makeup to create the effect of dark skin, an act that was criticized as racially insensitive. Despite Whoopi's defense, claiming that it was just a joke between close friends, the public reaction was still fierce and harsh. The constant pressure from the public, along with the long-standing arguments, made their relationship tiring and tense. After less than 18 months together, Ted and Whoopi decided to split. Whoopi later shared that the breakup not only caused emotional damage, but what saddened her the most was that the two could not maintain their friendship as before. The once close bond seemed unfixable, and they no longer talked comfortably as before. Although this love did not last, it is still considered an indelible mark in Hollywood history, a testament to love overcoming social prejudice, but also a reminder of the challenges that different couples face in an entertainment environment full of scandal and prejudice. Denzel Washington is not only known as an outstanding acting talent, but also for his wisdom in building a solid and lasting career in the entertainment industry. He attracts audiences through his profound roles, but what makes Denzel different is his careful selection of scripts and scenes, especially emotional scenes. He pays close attention to the feelings of the audience, especially his loyal fans, mostly black women, to avoid causing discomfort or misunderstanding. It is this careful consideration that has helped Denzel maintain respect and maintain a solid position in the hearts of the audience for many years. However, in 2003, a wave of rumors caused a stir in public opinion when Denzel and co-star Sanaa Lathan collaborated in the movie Out of Time. In some intimate love scenes, many people began to speculate about a real-life relationship between the two. At that time, Denzel was living a happy family life with his wife, Pida Washington, a couple considered a role model in the entertainment industry. Although both Denzel and Sanaa quickly denied these rumors, the public still kept talking. Sanaa Lathan also shared that she felt uncomfortable with the rumors, but understood that it was inevitable in the showbiz environment. She emphasized that when filming emotional scenes, speculation was common, but she always maintained professionalism and did not let those things affect her work. Denzel Washington has also frankly shared his views on choosing roles in many interviews. He is especially careful with emotional scenes, especially when it comes to interracial relationships, because he finds that this can easily create strong reactions from the audience. According to Denzel, even a small kissing scene can cause controversy, so he often refuses to participate in such sensitive scenes. It is this caution and respect for the audience that not only helps Denzel maintain a long career, but also clearly demonstrates his responsibility to the community he has always been proud to represent and protect. Chris Rock and Kerry Washington have been the focus of speculation surrounding an extramarital affair, especially after Chris publicly admitted in a comedy show that he had been unfaithful during his marriage to his ex-wife, Malak Compton Rock. He revealed that he had relationships with 3 women, including a famous star, which quickly drew attention to Kerry Washington, his co-star in the film I Think I Love My Wife, 2007. Coincidentally, this film itself explores the theme of temptation and infidelity in marriage. Many sources say that the relationship between Chris and Kerry lasted about 6 months during filming. At that time, Kerry Washington was engaged to actor David Moscow, while Chris was still married to Malak. Although according to some close people, the couple's relationship was on the rocks, and they often had to live apart due to work. Rumors of an affair between Chris and Kerry began to spread in 2007 and gained further attention after Chris Rock mentioned his affair during his Total Blackout comedy tour. During it, he revealed that he had a relationship with a member of Destiny's Child, although he did not name her. Although many people speculated, most believed that the character was not Beyoncé. However, representatives and people close to Chris completely denied the suspicions, saying that the stories mentioned in the comedy performances were only exaggerated artistically and did not accurately reflect his personal life. They also emphasized that Chris and Malak's marriage had already encountered many difficulties. As for Kerry Washington, she has never commented on these rumors. Her ex-fiancé, David Moscow, has also chosen to remain silent in the media. Since then, both Chris Rock and Kerry Washington have moved on to new chapters in their lives. Kerry is currently enjoying her life with her husband, former NFL player Nnamdi Asomugha, and their 2 children. Meanwhile, Chris Rock has been in a few relationships and is currently dating actress Megalyn Echikunwoke. Halle Berry, the first actress to win an Oscar for Best Actress, has not only shined in her acting career but has also faced many rumors over the years. One of the most talked about stories is about her relationship with her co-star Billy Bob Thornton in the movie Monsters Ball. After they performed emotional love scenes together, people began to question their real-life relationship. However, in an October 2024 interview on Dax Shepard's Armchair Expert podcast, Halle Berry officially spoke up to clarify these rumors. She affirmed that everything happened exactly as it did on screen and expressed disappointment that the rumors continued to spread. Halle emphasized that although the scene between them was very real, it was just part of the acting profession. She also made a big point. At the time of filming, Billy Bob Thornton was still married to Angelina Jolie. So the story about a romantic relationship between her and Billy Bob is not only false, but completely impossible. Halle explained that these rumors simply stemmed from the two of them acting so well, making it easy for the audience to confuse reality with the role. Makey Pfeiffer, a talented actor with many impressive roles, once faced a sensitive situation when performing emotional scenes with actress Elika Postanor. According to many sources, during the filming process, Makey and Elika created a special connection, contributing to the emotional and realistic scenes. However, at that time, Makey was still happily with his wife, Rashit Barnes. For any actor, acting in emotional scenes requires high professionalism and control to convey emotions convincingly while maintaining a clear line between work and private life. In the case of Makey and Elika, the on-screen connection may have gone beyond the limits of a normal professional relationship. While creating intimacy with co-stars is common in acting, it can also lead to complications, especially when one or both are in committed relationships. Although Makey and Elika have never spoken out about the issue, Makey and Rashid's relationship has been through its fair share of trials during that time. Makey has since spoken about the importance of honesty and openness in marriage, admitting that maintaining a marriage in the entertainment industry is not easy. He has also emphasized that he always tries to keep a clear separation between his work and personal life, although sometimes the line becomes blurred, especially when filming emotional scenes. Taye Diggs and Idina Menzel were once one of Hollywood's most admired couples. They met in the 90s while starring in the hit musical Rent and were married in 2003. With both of their talents, Taye's natural charisma and Idina's signature Broadway musical style, they seemed like the perfect match for many fans. However, like many celebrity couples, their marriage was not without its share of rumors and speculation. Despite no solid evidence, questions began to be raised about their relationship when Taye starred in several film projects with other actresses. After more than a decade together, Taye and Idina officially announced their separation in 2013. They stressed that the decision was amicable and that they would continue to share custody of their son, Walker. What is especially admirable is that despite their breakup, the two have never criticized or accused each other. They maintain respect and handle things in a civilized manner, something that is rare in the entertainment industry, which is often full of scandals. Carmelo Anthony and Lala Anthony were once one of the most admired couples in the entertainment industry. They married in 2010 and have a son named Kian together. However, like many other famous relationships, their marriage has had its share of challenges. One of the most difficult times was when rumors of Carmelo's infidelity began to spread, with accusations involving an actress on a film project he was involved in. While the details surrounding these rumors have not been clearly verified, this is not the first time their relationship has been plagued by rumors. Another interesting piece of information is that Carmelo is said to have fathered a child with another woman while living with Lala. Although neither has officially confirmed or denied it, it is clear that tensions in the marriage have begun to appear. By 2017, Lala moved out and the two decided to temporarily separate. Instead of quickly going through a divorce, they remained friends and raised their son together. They often appeared together at events and shared beautiful moments on social media, causing the public to constantly question their ability to mend their relationship. However, rumors of an extramarital affair continued to spread, significantly affecting their private lives under close scrutiny from the media. Finally, in 2021, Lala officially filed for divorce, citing irreconcilable differences. After many years of facing ups and downs, perhaps both of them realized that their marriage could no longer continue. Martin Lawrence, a famous star of the 90s cinema with films such as Bad Boys and Big Mama's House, has built a brilliant career for himself thanks to his acting talent and special sense of humor. Therefore, it is not difficult to understand why his on-screen relationships always attract great attention from the public. Among the most notable stories is the relationship between Martin and Tisha Campbell, his close co-star in the series Martin. On screen, they are a couple loved by the audience, but behind the scenes, there are many rumors about a real-life relationship. However, as the film progressed, the relationship between the two gradually became tense. The climax was in 1997. Tisha filed a lawsuit against Martin for harassment, causing public opinion to raise many questions about private matters outside of work. Although there has been no clear confirmation of their romantic relationship, this event still makes many people curious about the untold stories behind the spotlight. However, Martin and Tisha have overcome the difficult period and re-established a professional working relationship, continuing to collaborate on later projects. Besides, there were also rumors about a short-lived relationship between Martin and Lark Voorhees, the famous actress from Saved by the Bell, but no official information has ever been confirmed. Martin's personal life has not been without challenges, from mental health issues to legal troubles, which has always kept him in the public eye. However, with his talent and perseverance in his career, Martin Lawrence has maintained a solid position in the hearts of fans over the years. Jamie Foxx is one of the brightest stars in Hollywood, standing out not only for his diverse talent, but also for his charming charm and successful career. With a series of famous roles and flexible transformation ability, he is always a name loved and admired by the audience. Therefore, Jamie's private life is always a topic of interest, and many rumors have been spread about him. Throughout his career, Jamie Foxx is considered one of the most charming men in the entertainment industry. Although he has many private relationships, his love affair with Katie Holmes has attracted special attention. In addition, the close relationship between Jamie and his co-star Kerry Washington in the movie Ray has also made many audiences curious, especially when their romantic scenes spread strong emotions on screen. In addition to Kerry Washington, Garcelle Beauvais, his co-star in The Jamie Foxx Show, is also often rumored to have a romantic relationship with him. Their chemistry and charming interactions on screen made fans suspicious. However, both Jamie and Garcelle insisted that they were just close friends and maintained a professional relationship. When Jamie and Kerry Washington reunited in Django Unchained, rumors of a romance were once again fueled, but by this time, the public was used to couples with great on-screen chemistry often being rumored. With a calm and humorous personality, Jamie Foxx just sees these stories as fun and does not let them affect his work or personal life. With his talent and solid career, Jamie Foxx has always held a special place in the hearts of fans, while maintaining professionalism and bravery in the face of all rumors surrounding his personal life. Dwyane Wade and Gabrielle Union are one of the most powerful and admired couples in Hollywood, not only because of their deep love, but also because of their successful careers. However, before officially becoming husband and wife in 2014, they had to go through many difficult challenges. In 2013, during their temporary separation, Dwyane Wade had a child with another woman. This information quickly attracted strong attention from the media and the public. Dwyane frankly admitted and shared that he had a son at that time. Gabrielle, despite experiencing deep pain, also expressed her sincerity about her feelings during that difficult time. Instead of letting this storm destroy their relationship, the two chose to face and overcome the challenge together. Gabrielle shared that the healing process was not easy, requiring maturity and patience from both sides as well as an effort to rebuild strong trust. Dwyane did not shirk responsibility. He clearly admitted his mistakes, which helped them heal and move forward together. The sincere love, commitment, and maturity in that journey helped Dwyane and Gabrielle overcome all difficulties, so that now they build a happy home filled with love and strong bonds. Terrence Howard, one of the most talented actors in Hollywood, is famous for his role as Lucius Lyon in the hit series Empire. Not only is he known for his impressive acting ability, he also attracts attention for the changes in his personal life. His successful career and large fan base make his personal life a topic of special interest. Having gone through many marriages and major changes in his personal life, Terrence has constantly become the focus of the media. In Empire, the on-screen chemistry between him and co-star Taraji P. Henson, who plays Cookie Lyon, has sparked many rumors about a real-life relationship. The excellent transformation of both as Lyon and his wife has made the audience curious about their real relationship. In addition, Terrence's personal life is also surrounded by many other rumors, especially related to close relationships with colleagues and crew members. In the entertainment industry, building relationships at work is common, but when combined with legal issues and personal turmoil, his personal life has become even more attractive to the press and the public. Despite facing many storms in his personal life and career, Terrence Howard has always been a figure of public interest, not only because of his outstanding talent, but also because of the turbulent journey and challenges he has experienced. T.I. and Tiny Harris are considered one of the most powerful and beloved couples in the entertainment industry. Since tying the knot in 2010, they have built a strong and close-knit family together. However, like many couples in showbiz, they have faced their fair share of challenges in their marriage. One of the biggest challenges the couple has faced has been the rumors surrounding T.I.'s honesty in his relationships. These rumors have involved the rapper allegedly having relationships with several women who appeared in his music videos, which featured many famous models and actresses. While Tiny has always tried to protect her family, she has not hesitated to openly share her difficult feelings, sometimes implying that T.I. has not been completely honest in the relationship. In 2016, Tiny filed for divorce, but the two later decided to work together to mend and save their marriage. However, rumors about T.I.'s extramarital affairs continued to surface. Notably, a woman once appeared on Instagram livestream, accusing T.I. of cheating on her, causing the male artist to speak up to affirm his loyalty and respect in his relationship with his wife. However, to date, there has been no official confirmation of these allegations. Despite many storms, T.I. and Tiny have overcome difficulties together, maintained a happy family, and continued to be one of the couples that the public is interested in and follows in the entertainment industry. Which story impressed you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Don't forget to like, share the video with your friends, and subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on the most exciting stories from the world of Hollywood. Forget the glamour you once thought of Hollywood. In its heyday, stars were more than just bright lights. They were raging fires, burning between the lights and the shadows. Behind the scenes, there were buried secrets, spirals of addiction, and scandals that nearly swept away the entertainment industry. These are the stories of 15 actors who were not only famous but also disruptive, people who defied convention, turned the rules upside down, and left Hollywood speechless. Some were strong enough to survive, some were tragic enough to make it, but all left behind some of the most powerful legends in cinema history. Get ready. After this list, your view of Hollywood will never be the same. Errol Flynn, an icon not only of cinema but also of passion and rebellion. With his strong chin, charming voice, and irreverent demeanor, he quickly became the ideal model of the adventure hero on the screen. But behind the halo was a life more dramatic and chaotic than any role he had ever played. Entering the 1940s, Flynn's real-life stories began to overshadow his career. Lavish parties, controversial relationships, and countless rumors surrounded him, gradually breaking down his hero image. The public no longer saw just a talented actor, but also a character who lived outside the box. Flynn once proudly declared, "I love old whiskey and young women," a sentence that partly revealed his daring and reckless lifestyle. His mansion was rumored to be a place of many secrets, with hidden rooms for private meetings, stories that added to the mystique surrounding him. Many rumors also linked Flynn to unexplained wartime activities, from ambiguous relationships with foreign powers to contacts with unknown purposes. Although never confirmed, these stories only added to his image as a fascinating and contradictory one. In his later years, Flynn gradually became exhausted after a series of days of living beyond his limits. He died at the age of 50, leaving behind a divided legacy, one part a shining example of art, the other a reminder of the price of unbridled freedom and unattainable fame. Charlie Chaplin was more than just an actor. He was a living legend who wrote the history of cinema with his bowler hat, signature mustache, and awkward walk. He made the world laugh, then fall silent, in silent, humane films. But behind the smiles and the spotlight was a man full of contradictions and a private life that shocked Hollywood. At age 35, Chaplin married Lita Grey when she was 16, a relationship that quickly became a public tragedy, rife with controversy over control and deep disagreements. Soon after, he was embroiled in a high-profile lawsuit with actress Joan Barry. Despite a DNA test showing that he was not the father, Chaplin was ordered to pay child support, a media frenzy that rocked his once lovable image. Then, politics entered his life. During the height of anti-communism, Chaplin was suspected of being leftist. In 1952, when he left the United States for Europe, he was refused permission to return, despite having spent much of his life creating and contributing to American cinema. He had never been granted citizenship. "I am just one thing, a clown," he once said. But behind that simple title was a life of ups and downs, with cracks in his reputation and hidden corners that not everyone saw. Robert Mitchum didn't try to hide his dark side. He embraced it as an integral part of himself. With his lazy eyes, his deep, half-smoked voice, and his irreverent demeanor, Mitchum didn't just play the rebel, he embodied it in real life. In 1948, he was arrested at a Hollywood party for drugs, an incident that could have ruined his career. But Mitchum's response stunned the public. He simply shrugged. "It's like getting arrested for holding a beer can." It was a light-hearted remark that became an immortal statement of character. Despite his brief stint in prison, Mitchum was not defeated. On the contrary, the scandal propelled him to iconic status. Hollywood realized his unruly nature didn't make him scary, it made him irreplaceable. He was known for his barroom brawls, his fist fights with directors, and his habit of breaking scripts when he didn't feel right. Mitchum doesn't like the rules, but he always knows how to keep people watching his every move. When asked how he differs from his on-screen anti-heroes, Mitchum simply smiles. "I don't shoot people." The answer is short, cool, and completely Mitchumian. No frills, no excuses. While many stars strive to maintain a flawless image, Mitchum moves like a wild wind, bringing chaos and irresistible charm with him. He lives like he has nothing to lose, and somehow that makes him immortal. Marlon Brando was more than an actor, he was a phenomenon. When he appeared in A Streetcar Named Desire, he didn't just walk into the scene, he seemed to shake the screen. With his fierce gaze, his husky voice, and his fiery demeanor, Brando transformed each role into a breathtakingly vivid experience. Brando was the embodiment of innate talent and a torn soul. He lived in a way that no one could teach him, no mold could bind him, and it was this unruliness that made him irresistible. But behind the aura was a man full of contradictions, hot-tempered, unpredictable, and always on the border between genius and chaos. His personal life read like the plot of a sad movie. Brando had a complicated love life that defied conventional norms. The harsh events in his family left him with unhealed wounds, and perhaps that pain was the fuel for his heart-wrenching performances. Brando was not afraid to rebel against the system. He dared to refuse an Oscar for The Godfather, as an act of protest against social injustice. It was not a trick, it was a statement from an artist who never compromised. His co-stars called him a storm, one moment passionate, the next as cold as a lake. Brando lived as if every day was a battle with himself. But that was also what made it impossible for the audience to look away every time he appeared. Because in every look, every breath, there was a soul struggling and burning right before our eyes. Clark Gable, the man with the smile that stopped time, the mesmerizing eyes, and the charisma that made a generation consider him the definition of charm. On the silver screen, he was an eternal symbol of classic Hollywood, a king without a throne, but the entire film capital bowed down. However, behind that halo were secrets so elaborately hidden that they seemed like they would never be revealed. One of the biggest mysteries in Gable's life revolved around his relationship with his co-star Loretta Young in Call of the Wild. Years later, Loretta revealed that a serious incident had occurred during filming, leaving her pregnant in an extremely awkward situation. To avoid a scandal that could ruin both their careers, the studio arranged it. Loretta disappeared from Hollywood for months, then returned and adopted her own child as if nothing had happened. That was just the tip of the iceberg. Gable was also involved in a series of tumultuous relationships, many of them controversial because they involved married women. MGM was like a crisis management team at the time, quietly covering up, and doing everything possible to maintain the image of the perfect man that the public worshipped. As one former industry insider put it, just keep the press quiet and the police out of the way, everything will be fine. Rumors that some close friends, even big stars like Katharine Hepburn, considered going public but chose not to, only added to the sense that something was never said. To audiences, Gable was always Rhett Butler, proud, mysterious, and unstoppable. But behind that flawless exterior was a man who was experienced, conflicted, and carried wounds that the spotlight could never erase. Spencer Tracy, the epitome of calm and elegance on screen, has always been the perfect model of the ideal man in the hearts of the public. With his deep eyes and dignified demeanor, he has conquered millions of viewers through each role. But behind the screen, his real personality is much more complex and contradictory. Tracy lives a double life. On the one hand, he is a devout Catholic who always refuses to divorce his wife, whom he married early. On the other hand, he maintains a close relationship that has lasted more than 20 years with the star Katharine Hepburn. They have never publicly announced that they are a couple, simply best friends in front of the media. But in the industry, everyone understands the truth behind that silence. He has also struggled with addictions, especially alcohol, a battle that has never really ended. At work, Tracy is an excellent actor, professional and charming. But off-set, he sometimes fell into a series of days disappearing without a trace, as if swallowed by his own demons, then suddenly returning as if nothing had happened. A director once said that working with Tracy was like walking barefoot on broken glass, always having to be on guard. Sometimes he was gentle and understanding, but sometimes he was explosive and unruly. And throughout that journey, Katharine Hepburn, the woman who was quietly attached to him, was always a support behind the scenes, even though she had no official status. Hollywood could not let go of Spencer Tracy. The studios tried every way to protect him from personal troubles because on screen, he was the embodiment of justice, of the faith that audiences always sought in a time of change. But deep down, Tracy carried things that he could not express. Between his faith, his career, and the parts of himself that he could not live with, he existed as a person constantly torn. Before he died, he said bitterly, "I have ghosts, and they never leave me." John Barrymore, the name that once made the theater and film world respect, was not only an actor, but also an icon of the era. Born into the famous Barrymore family, He possessed an aristocratic temperament with a voice and charisma that conquered every audience. In the 1920s and 30s, he was known as Prince Hamlet, the embodiment of the peak of performing arts in the Golden Age. But behind that halo was a tragedy that was quietly forming. When the stage lights gradually dimmed, another John Barrymore emerged, lost, lonely, and increasingly out of control. Initially, he was the embodiment of Hollywood glamour, lavish parties, flamboyant style, and wit that captivated everyone. But over time, that halo faded, giving way to a breakdown. He forgot his lines, arrived on set in an erratic state, and sometimes even disappeared completely without an explanation. Friends tried to hold him back, but Barrymore seemed to drift away from the circle of those who loved him. Stories about him grew stranger, jokes that no one understood, days spent isolated among strangers. The home that had once been his home became a world of chaos. From starring roles on stage and screen, he gradually appeared in supporting roles to pay off debts, roles that no longer had the aura of the past. A producer once bitterly exclaimed, "John is the only man I have ever seen who can drink his legacy dry." In the end, he lost not only his career, his reputation, his money, but also himself. When John Barrymore died in 1942 at the age of 60, it was not just the end of a life, but the end of a brilliant artistic era. If Hollywood ever had its first tragedy written in blood and wine, the name engraved on that tragedy was John Barrymore. In the early 1920s, Roscoe "Fatty" Arbuckle was one of Hollywood's biggest stars. With his distinctive physique and natural talent for comedy, he not only captivated audiences but also won the respect of filmmakers. A close friend of Charlie Chaplin and mentor to Buster Keaton, Arbuckle was seen as an irreplaceable icon of the golden age of silent films. But in one fateful weekend, everything fell apart. In 1921, after a lavish party at a San Francisco hotel, Arbuckle was unexpectedly charged with a serious incident involving actress Virginia Rappe. The news spread like wildfire. Dramatic headlines, public outrage, moral groups called for boycotts, and Hollywood was thrown into crisis. Arbuckle was put on trial, not once, but 3 times in a row. He was eventually acquitted. In the final trial, the jury not only found him not guilty, but also publicly apologized, a rare move in American legal history. They affirmed that there was no evidence to convict him. But while the law forgave him, Hollywood did not. Although he was cleared, Arbuckle's career could not be saved. The studios turned their backs on him, his name was removed from every project, and he was forced to use an alias to continue working. From the height of his fame, he became a forgotten man. Although he tried to return with small roles and direct lesser-known films, the shadow of scandal still weighed heavily on his name. It was not until 1933 that a ray of hope appeared. Arbuckle had just signed a contract for a major project, marking a milestone in his return after more than a decade of being sidelined. But just hours after signing the contract, he suddenly died of a heart attack. Arbuckle's story was not just a personal tragedy, but a wake-up call for Hollywood. The incident was so shocking that it helped spur the creation of the Hays Code, America's first system of film censorship. Roscoe Arbuckle is a poignant reminder that in Hollywood, reputations can be lost overnight, and sometimes never to be rebuilt. George Reeves was an irreplaceable icon for a generation. In the red and blue Superman suit, he was a symbol of justice, of noble ideals, and of the indomitable American spirit. Children across America idolized him, and adults saw him as a familiar and safe face on the small screen. But behind the halo was a life of turmoil and an ending that shocked Hollywood. On the morning of June 16, 1959, George Reeves was found dead in his bedroom at home, with a gunshot to the head. Police quickly ruled it a suicide, but almost immediately many began to have doubts. Those close to him insisted that Reeves did not appear depressed. On the contrary, he was actively preparing for new projects and even planning to marry his young lover. What made the suspicions even more complicated were his past relationships. Reeves had a years-long affair with Toni Mannix, the wife of a high-ranking MGM executive who was rumored to have connections to the underworld. When Reeves ended the relationship and began dating someone new, strange things began to happen. He felt stalked, often appeared insecure, and once confided that he wanted to leave Hollywood forever. On the night of the incident, while gunshots rang out from upstairs, those downstairs did not immediately respond. When the police arrived, the crime scene raised even more suspicion. The gun had no fingerprints. Reeves had no traces of gunpowder on his hands, and many details seemed to contradict the suicide theory. Theories abounded. Was it a jealous murder, an elaborate revenge plot, or a conspiracy whose truth was buried with the people involved? George Reeves, once a symbol of hope, died alone, with many unanswered questions. As one reporter wrote poignantly, "He saved the world, but no one could save him." Rock Hudson was the ideal Hollywood leading man, tall, charming, and romantic. With his perfect looks and outstanding talent, he conquered the hearts of America in the 50s and became an icon that movie studios poured a lot of money into building an image. But behind that halo was a heartbreaking truth that Hudson was forced to hide throughout his career. He was gay. At that time, this could not only ruin his career, but also destroy all the images that Hollywood had worked so hard to create. Therefore, the film industry created a fake life scenario for him. A fake marriage was staged, his image was strictly controlled, and Hudson had to accept silence, not revealing anything that could affect his reputation. Hudson once shared with a close friend, "I just want to be loved, but I have to pretend to be someone else all my life to survive." He lived in fear, not only from the industry, but also from himself. His closest relationships lived in the shadows, unacknowledged and unacknowledged. That all changed in 1985, when Hudson decided to break his silence. He became the first celebrity to publicly announce that he had AIDS, a courageous act that shocked the nation. At the time, AIDS was misunderstood, stigmatized, and not talked about publicly. But for Hudson, it was an inevitable reality. When the news became public, his fans were shocked. Some felt betrayed, while others admired his courage. No matter how you look at it, no one can deny the powerful impact of that moment. Hudson's death just a few months later opened a major conversation in America about AIDS, homosexuality, and the pain of stars forced to live fake lives, playing the roles society wanted them to. Rock Hudson died, but his final performance, his true self, became one of the most powerful and influential moments in Hollywood history. As one quote puts it, "He played an icon all his life, but in the end, it was his true self that changed the world." Tab Hunter, with his flowing blonde hair and radiant smile, was the ideal American hero of the 1950s. He was the epitome of a Hollywood hero, gracing every poster and drawing everyone's attention. But behind that perfect exterior, Hunter lived in constant fear, hiding his true identity every day. As a gay man in a time when revealing his homosexuality could end his career instantly, Hunter was forced to live in secrecy. The studios knew this and did everything they could to control his story. He was forced to go on fake dates with female stars, fake photos were sought after, and PR departments worked tirelessly to quell rumors. Once he was arrested by the police at a gay party, but he escaped media attention. Had he been exposed at the time, his career would have been over. Hunter once shared, "I couldn't be myself, not in that system, not at that time." For years, Hunter lived two lives, a perfect man in public and a completely different one behind closed doors. The stress gradually wore him down, and as Hollywood's tastes changed, he was forgotten, like so many other stars swallowed up by the industry. However, Hunter refused to be left behind. In the early 2000s, he decided to tell the whole truth in his memoir, Tab Hunter Confidential. His story was shocking and touching, making the public realize that he was not just a movie icon, but also a victim of a cruel system. One critic wrote, "Tab Hunter is more than just a pretty face. He is a man who survived the very place that built and nearly destroyed his life." While Hunter eventually reclaimed his voice, not every star has that opportunity. His story is a testament to the untold truths and hidden pains of a generation of stars in the film industry. Tony Curtis, with his charming looks and brilliant acting talent, was once one of Hollywood's brightest stars. He was the epitome of the Hollywood dream, with memorable roles in hits like Some Like It Hot and Spartacus. But behind the glamour lay a troubled and dark life. Curtis was so obsessed with fame that he never felt satisfied, and his obsession eventually led him into a world of partying, casual affairs, and eventually drug addiction. He was proud of his relationships with hundreds of women, including Marilyn Monroe. But that short-term joy soon gave way to heroin and cocaine addiction in the 1970s. Curtis said wryly, "If you remember the 1970s, you didn't really live in them." Curtis's career quickly went downhill. His reckless and unbridled behavior alienated directors, and he was gradually shunned by producers. 6 failed marriages, 6 children, including his famous daughter Jamie Lee Curtis, who admitted that her father was largely absent from her life. Yet Curtis never lost his charisma. In interviews, he remains a charming storyteller, self-aware of his turbulent life. "I've turned my life into a circus, and sometimes I forget who's running the show." Tony Curtis is a living testament to the price of fame. The spotlight can make you shine, but it can also burn you if you get too close. While Curtis struggles with the wounds of life, another star is slowly crumbling from within, lost between the glitz of Hollywood and the invisible pressures of his own. Mickey Rooney wasn't just a child star. He was the first child star to truly dominate Hollywood. In the 1930s and 1940s, with his Andy Hardy films, Rooney became the most powerful name at the box office. At that time, he was even the highest-paid actor in America, despite not being old enough to drink. However, behind that dynamic, smiling exterior was a soul that was never at peace. Rooney married 8 times to famous stars such as Ava Gardner, but none of the relationships lasted. His personal life was a series of tragedies full of jealousy, infidelity, and scandals that constantly filled the newspapers. Rooney blew millions of dollars on gambling, wasteful spending, and bad investments. Not only that, he was betrayed by his own family. In his twilight years, Rooney accused his own children of abusing and embezzling his money. On set, he was an unpredictable genius, sometimes cheerful and lively, sometimes hot-tempered, putting directors on edge. He lived a life of constant partying, as if failure were an inevitable part of the journey to success. "I never had a childhood, I just had a career," Rooney once said. He lived as if the spotlight was the only thing keeping him alive. Even in his 90s, Rooney continued to take roles and appear on television, knowing that if he stopped, he would have to face himself. Mickey Rooney was a living image of old Hollywood, where fame came too early, and the price was a lifetime. He survived the ups and downs, but never really recovered. Rooney is a warning. Child stardom is not just a dream, but sometimes a lifelong trap. And while Rooney survives with the scars of his past, the next star in our story flashes like lightning, full of desire, and then disappears before anyone knows what's happening. James Dean only made 3 major films, but they were enough to make him an immortal legend. With his dark eyes, uncertain demeanor, and natural rebellious temperament, Dean became the perfect symbol of the post-war youth crisis. Works such as Rebel Without a Cause, East of Eden, and Giant engraved his image in the hearts of audiences, not only as a movie star, but also as a representative of a generation of young people struggling with themselves in a turbulent world. However, behind those cultural icons was a young man with a troubled soul and a self-destructive personality. Dean was addicted to speed. He was passionate about motorcycles, racing sports cars, especially the silver Porsche he called Little Bastard. His friends lived in fear whenever he drove. Dean never obeyed traffic laws, ran red lights, speeded, and often laughed when talking about his near-death experiences. He once admitted, "I live as if I were going to die tomorrow, and maybe I will." These words became prophetic when on September 30th, 1955, James Dean met his fate on a California highway. His silver Porsche was crushed, and Dean was gone at the age of 24, taking with him a bright future and a rising career. His sudden departure not only shocked the world, but also created an irreplaceable legend. From then on, people began to weave mysteries around Dean's life. Questions about his sexuality, secret relationships with powerful men in Hollywood, and even rumors of a bloody curse related to his fateful car. However, none of these were confirmed. These mysteries only add to the allure of the James Dean legend, because that ambiguity is what makes his death such an integral part of the Hollywood narrative. Dean didn't just play the rebel, he was it. He lived fast, loved fast, and died fast, never having a second act in his life. And like other rebels, he never entered the second act. James Dean has become a symbol of limitless freedom, of rebellion without reason. He is a testament to those who dare to live life to the fullest, even for a short time. His image lives on, not only in cinema, but also in the minds of those who love him, who are forever immersed in the legend of the rebellious boy with a great heart, but too fast to live, too wild to die. Warren Beatty was more than just a star. He was a phenomenon, a force of nature that Hollywood couldn't take its eyes off. With his good looks, charming demeanor, and irresistible magnetism, Beatty was always the center of attention. But what was special was that it wasn't Hollywood that pursued him. It was he who made Hollywood crave him. And in that journey, he left his mark full of drama and mystery. The legend of Beatty was written through his sexual relationships. He is said to have slept with thousands of women. Some say the number is over 12,000. From co-stars, models, to the wives of powerful politicians, Beatty never missed an opportunity. However, he was more than just a womanizer. Beatty was a control freak. On set, directors would often fight with him, because if a scene wasn't to his liking, production would be shut down until he was satisfied. Although Beatty's relationships were often fleeting, there was one rare exception: a 9-year relationship with Annette Bening. This came as a shock to those who knew him, because Beatty was once the most elusive man in Hollywood. One actress once said, "I've never met anyone more charming or more dangerous." Beatty didn't just have the ability to make or break a movie with a phone call. He understood the power of Hollywood and used it to create his own legend. Sometimes for his art, sometimes for his own ego. With Beatty, there was no room for accident or burnout. He continued his work, always drawing new energy from his thirst for control and his desire to be the center of attention whenever he walked into a room. For in old Hollywood, there were fallen stars, but few could rein in chaos like Warren Beatty. Thank you so much for watching this video. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you don't miss out on future videos about stars and other interesting stories. If you have any thoughts or questions, don't hesitate to leave a comment below. We look forward to hearing from you. Thanks again, and see you.